Hello there everyone, it is me Shadow Leon 659 once again, and today I would like to take a look at what is one of John Carpenter's most underrated and underappreciated films of all time, and today's subject of review is none other than 1995's Village of the Damned. If I'm being brutally honest, people, I have personally preferred the remake as opposed to the original, as I found the original film boring, slow-paced, the outdated 60s politics and Cold War era politics flew over my head, and at times I find it unintentionally funny. I don't believe for a second that this is one of Mr. Carpenter's worst films, and people just exaggerated how bad it is. So what is the premise of this movie, you ask? The premise is about a small rural town that is visited by an unknown life force which leaves several women pregnant. 9 months later the babies are born, and they all look normal, except it doesn't take the parents long to realize that the kids are not human or humane. I love the rural coastal town setting in Northern California, which was a nice callback to John Carpenter's The Fog. I found the children to be scarier, more menacing, and even more emotionless than in the original. The score composed by John Carpenter was pretty creepy, suspenseful, and intense, especially the main theme and March of the Children. I also found the death or torture scenes to be far more impactful and emotional. Though out of place, I found the shootout scene in which the children mind control the police and the army officers into shooting each other exciting. Dr. Alan Chaffee's heroic sacrifice was well done, and I did like the cliffhanger ending this movie ended on in typical John Carpenter fashion. The late Christopher Reeve gives a solid performance as the heroic Dr. Alan Chaffee, who does try to reason with the children and teach them humanity. Don't believe me? Look at how great Christopher Reeve's performance is in this scene alone.
I agree with you. I think that adaptation is the key to survival. Cooperation and symbiosis and compassion.
Why do you think your own survival depends upon emotion from us? Should we pity you? Empathize with your plight?
You should feel! You should feel something! Without feelings, you're nothing. You're just second-rate mimics of a higher organism. That's right, a higher organism. We're your superiors in our capacity to love. Without compassion, you're a doomed species.
Emotion is irrelevant. It is not our nature.
I'm not so sure you're right about that, Mara.
Even though he isn't in the movie that much, Mark Hamill is still passable as Reverend George. Though, like I mentioned earlier, I wish he was in the movie more. Kirstie Alley gives an incredible performance as the scientist G-woman Dr. Werner. Linda Kozlowski was there, and I did love her performance. But the one who stuck out most was Thomas Dekker as David, who has a vague grasp on feelings and conscience due to lacking a counterpart, thus is considered inferior to his brethren and spends most of the time acting confused and lost. I essentially loved his character arc and actually felt sorry for him, but unfortunately the movie does have several downsides. Like, the pacing of the movie started off pretty well in its first act, but then by the second half of the movie the pacing moves way too fast, as if they wanted to get everything done on time. John Carpenter's direction, while competent, for the most part feels pretty weak at certain moments. Mark Hamill could have done more in the story. The shootout scene, while exciting, felt out of place, and at times, as I mentioned before, feels like a drag. Overall, I find Village of the Damned to be a decent remake to an otherwise boring film, and don't think it deserves the hate it gets. So if you're wondering how I'm going to rate this movie, I am going to give this movie a 7 out of 10. What do you guys think of John Carpenter's Village of the Damned? Let me know in the comment section down below, and thanks for watching as always. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more content. Shadow Leon 659 signing out. Oh, and I forgot to mention how the makeup effects and the dyed hair on the kids looks pretty good for what it's worth, giving them that creepy feel. Anyway, goodbye and take care.